All right, everyone. So we now know Alexa Bliss is going to be on the Raw brand. So she will be on Raw. And I got to say, out of all the ovations, Alexa Bliss may have had the biggest return ovation. Fans were pumped to see her. And it was a shock because I think we even reported on here. All the reports were she's not ready to, come back yet. They're talking about a contract dispute, which, by the way, could have been going on. People act like because she was there, that means there was never a contract dispute. Two things can be true at once. There could have been a little bit of contract dispute. That's why she didn't return when initially thought. And then she just ended up figuring it out with WWE, and then she returned at the Royal Rumble. Both of those things could have happened. But she had a huge, huge pop. And I can't wait to see what her pop looks like on Raw. She comes back. That's what makes a Rumble great. And that's what made the Women's Rumble so great, was just the shocking nature of the people who were in it. The shocking returns here and shocking returns there. It kicked off the show exactly how you had to kick off the show. There was no other way to kick off that show, and I thought WWE did a perfect job doing it, doing it that way. But hey, Raw brand, we're going to see her on Netflix. We're going to see what type of rivalry they cook up. I wish I could come on here sometimes and be like, they should do this rivalry, but this is why I don't envy Triple H or anybody in WWE creative. With the amount of really great female superstars you have, who are you going to put her against? You have 1,000,001 options. So who is it that you're going to put her against? I don't even know. To be completely honest with you, I have no clue. So put in the comment section below who you think Alexa Bliss should be in a rivalry with. Should she be someone being pushed to the top of the main event of WrestleMania? What exactly should they do? Put in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching.
Well, I hate to break this up, but I do want to get your respective comments as the WWE Women's Champion and the WWE Women's World Champion of the winner of the Royal Rumble being Charlotte.
I just want to remind Charlotte of WrestleMania 39. We've been there, we've done that. I beat her last time. She's been out for a while. She's got a bung knee. I already beat her. I'm done. Tiffy?
Like I said Friday, it doesn't matter who wins, because at WrestleMania, it's gonna be Tiffy time.
Do you guys have any predictions on which championship and which champion she will choose to face at WrestleMania?
Good luck, Tiffy. Oh, you, mate.
Like I said, if it's gonna be me, it's gonna be a Tiffy time at WrestleMania. Now get out of my face, Kathy.
I gotta go anyways.
So to me, this is going to be pretty clear. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I would be stunned if that wasn't the case. I would simply be stunned if that wasn't the case. And I think that's the right move too. Look, Rhea Ripley, she's really, she's arrived in a big way. Okay, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the business. Tiffany Stratton has also arrived, but Tiffany Stratton, this is her first big push here that we're getting right now. So when you have that, when you understand this is, the first big push by Tiffany Stratton, it's important to give her a level of legitimacy, even in a loss, even if it's Charlotte Flair who ends up beating her. And you do that by putting her in a big time match with somebody the fans know, like Charlotte Flair. That's how you build and continue to build that legitimacy. And I don't know where they're going to head with this, because it was kind of weird, because Charlotte Flair, everything she did at the Royal Rumble appeared to me to be more babyface than heel. I was expecting her to come back as a little bit more heelish, but we haven't really even seen her first promo yet. So when the first promo comes and she's talking, at that point, maybe we'll kind of recognize, oh, gotcha. Okay, now it's a heel thing, right? But I think it's a perfect setup. I know a lot of people I saw that there was this thing about dislikes on, the YouTube video of Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble. I don't sense that being the case, that people won't like this. I think it's always important. There's always an online version of things, and then I think people were fine with Charlotte Flair winning it, but I could be wrong on that. I think they were fine with it, and I don't have a problem with it, because I think once they start telling the story, I think people are going to get it and be like, oh, that was the right move. But I do understand how you have someone come back from injury, immediately wins the Royal Rumble. People may also not be happy with that, because they're like, hey, look, You're just kind of having her jump to the front. But when she's Charlotte Flair, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, it's tough to argue with. But put in the comment section below what you think. If you think this is a good match, if you disagree with it, put in the comment section below. We like lively debate down there. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Gunther reacted to Jey Uso winning the title. He said in a very simple tweet, "I wouldn't." Now, it's pretty clear and this was almost clear before the Rumble as well, but now that we know who won, it's even more clear. But this is the storyline they are trying to tell. They're trying to tell the storyline of Gunther beat Jey Uso every time he's faced up. Not just for this championship, but the prior championship he had. He was always getting beat. He just can't beat Gunther. So that's the storyline that they'll be going with. And I don't think it's a terrible one. You know, it makes sense. The saddest part of this is that I feel like it's heading towards Gunther losing at WrestleMania. I really do. You know, we did a video the other day talking about him being a placeholder championship, and it got some comments of people. It got people talking a little bit, and I was reading some of them, and some were, you know, agreeing with it, some were disagreeing with it. I don't think either side necessarily was right or wrong. I'm just, you know, pointing out that there was agreement and disagreement. But I think maybe people will start seeing that to be the case a little bit more now. We are talking about what Bully Ray had said, because he was the one who made that announcement, and it's just true to me. It's just becoming more true, and it's not a Gunther thing. It's not like, oh, I don't think Gunther could do it. WWE has just not done a very good job, in my personal opinion, of telling his story since he's become champion. They've you know, you don't really understand right now what Gunther, like, who is Gunther? You know, that's the part you don't understand. When he's fighting Damian Priest, he's at a loss for confidence. And, you know, Damian Priest was getting one over on him. Now he ended up winning, but it's like, it's just, that's not the Gunther I remember. There's just, you know, there's so many different, I think, little storyline mishaps that they've made that it hasn't felt like a great title run. You know, it just simply hasn't to this point. And I don't think that that's a Gunther issue. I don't think it's Gunther is the reason. I think it's WWE's storytelling. I think they're the ones that are doing. I think Gunther's actually overachieving with what he's been, you know, kind of given. And I do think it's going to be cool, you know, to have this build up now between Jey Uso and him. Maybe there's something that happens with that that's pretty awesome. But the issue is going to be, you have this build up, right, going towards WrestleMania. Is this going to be so Jey Uso has a WrestleMania moment, which I could definitely see happening. And in that case, Gunther will effectively have been, in a way, a placeholder, right? He was just holding it until we had that WrestleMania moment. And I do think, you know, I would love to see the WrestleMania moment for Jey Uso. And Jey Uso is so over with the fans. It would be nice to see it. But you have a guy of Gunther's talent. Just felt like a missed opportunity, you know? And it is tough. It's tough for WWE because they have so many big storylines going on right now. Like, you had the Bloodline storyline, then you have Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. You just have so many little storylines, and there's so much talent that it's tough sometimes. Even one of your champions can't be, you know, like, even one of their champions is not viewed as in the top storylines. But maybe WWE will shock here, and maybe they'll be able to really tell some good storylines for the rest of Gunther's reign. But I have a feeling, spoiler, I have a feeling at WrestleMania it's going to be the end of Gunther's reign as champion, and it may just be Jey Uso that does it. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. All right, everyone. So we have an update from Dave Meltzer here about Drew McIntyre. This is kind of shocking. He said this: there's a guy that a lot of people were pissed at in that match, with the idea that he was trying to get himself over and not the match over, and he was doing things. I don't want to mention his name. It'll probably come out tomorrow because it's only one person telling me the name, but it's multiple people telling me that the Drew thing, he wasn't happy. It's not an angle. If they end up doing an angle with that person later, which there's no hints of anything, but I heard that Drew is not the only one unhappy with the situation. So this comes on the heels of talent being very upset with something in the Rumble, and Drew McIntyre stormed out from behind. Like, he went backstage after being eliminated, and supposedly he stormed out and he was pissed. So for starters, it's not shocked that Drew McIntyre might be a little frustrated. He's someone who is a main eventer, but he's kind of always seemingly on the outside looking in of these big matches now. You know, it's like he gets close to the title, it gets taken away. He gets close, it gets taken away. And that has to be frustrating. But it's also, you know, it's where we're at in WWE. when you have the amount of talent they have, it's tough to get everybody those title shots. And like I said, it has to be frustrating because when you're Drew McIntyre, you look at it as, look, if my story was told correctly, I could be, the guy that's fighting at the main event of WrestleMania. Like that's how he feels about it. If what was being done in his view was told correctly, but instead, what you're getting is, yeah, I mean, he gets over a little bit. People start disliking him, but then there's other bigger storylines, and that kind of holds him back. I think that's probably how he views all this. And to be honest, I can't really look at it and be like, oh, he's no way, he's being an idiot. I think there probably is a little bit of truth to that, and it probably is frustrating. But if I was, managing him, or if I was someone who was talking to him, I would say, look, Drew, you just got to hang around. WWE is a rocket ship right now. It's going to the moon. Your spot will come now. You just got to hang in there and do what the company wants you to do. And if you do that, you could look back in 2-3 years and say, oh, now I got my opportunity. But he was not happy, and it's going to be interesting to see who this actually was, because I have no clue who this was. But we'll keep you updated. It's always sad. Royal Rumble is a great pay-per-view. Drew McIntyre is a great wrestler. So knowing that after such a great pay-per-view, there was that upset, that sucks. That really does. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. This is one of my favorite storylines from the Royal Rumble. Kofi Kingston tweeted out, "A miscarriage of justice, Royal Rumble." And, we did a video yesterday, it was yesterday, of him complaining he wasn't at any of the advertisements. Obviously, Kofi Kingston is notorious for being in the Rumble. He's known for that because he always does some crazy trick when he's in there. But WWE continues to build the New Day, right? I guess they're not the New Day anymore, but the New Day, him and Xavier Woods, they continue to build this resentment. And I'm wondering what this is going to build to. I love how they're building it. I just hope we get a massive payoff. I hope they don't let this up, because there might not be a more hated duo than those two right now. The fans hate them. Obviously, they've, storylined everybody else hating them as well, but the fans really hate them, and that's what matters. So you could put them into a variety of different tag team matches. You could put them into a variety of different spots, and you can have them, be the bad guys, and people are going to hate them. I would love to see them get championships. I would love to see them being booed all the time. You figure you had a tag match on Royal Rumble, and it wasn't a bad match, but I don't know if it had to be there. And neither side really had heat. Neither side was really getting praised. So that could be a spot where you put in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, because they're going to get heat. That they're going to get heat. So I love how they're building this, and Kofi clearly is going to make a big stink about this on Raw or SmackDown, depending, but he's going to make a big stink about this moving forward. Road to WrestleMania begins. Put Xavier Woods, put Kofi Kingston, put them on a trajectory that we get to have a great match at WrestleMania where they're getting booed, and all of that. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
My hat's off to Ice Show Speed. I sort of felt bad. Only sort of. I don't know I've ever seen a human being get hit that hard. But, yeah, he's game. And my hat's off to him. I respect it. I don't know how many people, if I said there's a possibility that Braun Breaker might hit the ropes and just spear you in the middle of that ring, I don't know how many people would say, like, yeah, let's do it. And he has won. So my hat's off to him. I thought he loves the business, and he loves being around it. And I think he's great for it. So I know he wants to do some more things down the line, and we'll be happy to have him here.
So WWE continues. They haven't lost this aspect, right? They haven't lost this aspect of understanding how to reach people where they're at. Someone like Ice Show Speed is super popular, right? A lot of big organizations, they'd be like, well, we already do it this way. We're going to keep doing it. Not WWE. What does WWE do? Well, they decide, okay, we're going to bring him in and we're going to put him in the middle of the Royal Rumble match. How many other, entertainment things or sporting events would do something like that, to have it that integrated into what they're doing? And this is how you get to a whole new generation and make them wrestling fans. I bet there's a lot of people out there who, who watch iShow Speed. Maybe they were never wrestling fans. They find out he's going to be on the show. They decide to watch, and now they're going to be wrestling fans for life. And he did take a hit. I mean, that spear was crazy. He got thrown around. That's insane. And so he, like Triple H points out, it's not like he is just getting, he just showed up and didn't really do much. I mean, the guy was willing to take a Braun Breaker spear and then get thrown over the announce table. I mean, he took a beating, but I thought Triple H, and WWE did a great job of growing this thing, and they continue to do it, because when you see it changing hands the way it has, and you see it become a bigger company as it is than it's ever been, you worry about that stuff. Are they going to be able to still have that kind of ear to the ground to say, this is how we can make it bigger? These are the people we have to pay attention to. And so far, it looks like they are. So thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. All right, everyone. So Roxanne Perez set a new record for the longest time spent in the Royal Rumble at 1 hour and 7 minutes. So it was pretty crazy to see the Royal Rumble have as many NXT superstars. Specifically, the women's one had just a ton of NXT superstars, and they did a great job, I thought, of, the fans enjoyed it. They didn't take away from the match at all. They were in it. They were, you couldn't tell they were from NXT. You could just thought these people could be big names. And considering the type of talent that already exists in the WWE, on the main shows with the women's division, adding them to it as well down the line is going to be just fantastic. And this gives them so much time to just perfect everything so that when they are called up to WWE, they're going to be in a perfect position to deliver how they have to. Because at some point, you're going to run out of these rivalries you can continue to do amongst the top stars, right? You got to find new rivalries to do. And what better way than to have all of these stars that are already on TV, that are in NXT and other places? What better way to do it than that? It doesn't get much better than that. Roxanne Perez, she's probably, she's kind of the leading star in that group, but there were so many other ones too. And also you can call them up 2 at a time and have them feuding in, the mid-card spots. There's just so many ways WWE could build this. And I thought putting them in the Rumble was a good way to do it, because you get them shown on TV, you get the fans accustomed to them, the ones that don't watch NXT, and you continue to build. So big moment for Roxanne Perez. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out, Trish Stratus is here. She's expected to do more with WWE. Fightful Select is told she's constantly brought up in pitches and creative. So obviously, we saw Trish return last night, but this is something that's going to extend past the Royal Rumble. And I think that's good for WWE. Right now, you have a lot of main event talent on the women's side. There's no question about it. But you need to continue to build that mid-card women's talent. And look, Trish is one of the best women's wrestlers of all time. But in this iteration, my guess is she's going to be around the mid-card area, and maybe she has a main event push at some point. But for now, my guess is she'll be in very good storylines in the mid-card. And fighting Trish Stratus is going to give all the people in that group a little more legitimacy. You can't get much more legitimate than Trish Stratus. So I think that's a big deal. And then, of course, if fans are really bought into it and she's at some point gets a main event push, what better way to have big moments at pay-per-views than having Trish Stratus in big matches? Like I said, I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how often she's going to wrestle, but the more talent, the better. And especially when you have someone legend like Trish Stratus, like I said, she just is going to give legitimacy to whoever she's fighting, and that's big time for people that are in NXT and coming up or whatever it is. It just adds big time feel to a lot of these matches, but we're going to see what WWE does. So thank you all for watching. We will see you next time.
Tess, guys, thank you so much. Listen, we all saw how intense that ladder match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens was. We obviously could see that Kevin Owens was in rough shape after that match was complete. But I also have it on good authority that the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes is dealing with multiple injuries. I can't confirm the intensity or severity of those injuries, but what I can tell you is that they're bad enough that Cody will not be addressing the media in tonight's press conference. In fact, his in-ring status might even be up in the air as well. What I can confirm for you, Tess, is that Cody Rhodes will still attend Friday Night SmackDown this week in Memphis. But considering it is officially WrestleMania season, this could be devastating news if Cody Rhodes is unable to compete for any amount of time.
Right. So I don't know if these are storyline injuries or real injuries, but what we do know is that, and I brought this up, in our coverage of the event, the Royal Rumble ladder match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes was phenomenal. It gave you the same thing CM Punk's Hell in the Cell match versus Drew McIntyre gave you, which is these are the matches we remember, right? Sometimes you have a stipulation and it's like, well, you could have made that any kind of match. You could have made that a singles match. Nobody cared. There was no reason to have it be a ladder match or a falls count anywhere or whatever. This match was a ladders match. It had all the brutality, you would love from a ladders match. And so with Cody injured, whether it's actually injured, give him time off to rest up, because he just delivered. Look, Cody Rhodes was going down a path here after the bloodline where it's like, how can you match that type of storyline? And yet they did it. They found Kevin Owens. Boom. That was a beautiful heel turn. The fans loved it. The beauty of it, you heard fans chanting for Kevin Owens. You heard them chanting for Cody Rhodes. That is exactly what you want if you're WWE. This kind of just phenomenal storytelling. And the match lived up. The match was brutal. The guys were going through, not tables really, but ladders they were getting slammed through. Multiple ones. And the way they ended the match, where it wasn't like, oh, Cody hit him with his finisher and he runs up the ladder and he's able to get it quick. But the way they ended the match was Cody absolutely destroyed Kevin Owens with that move. I mean, he absolutely took him out. That was a beautiful way to end it. It just put a cherry on the top of how gruesome and crazy that match was. So we'll see with these injuries, if they're real or if they're storyline or what they are. But either way, it's going to be used to tell the story of how gruesome that match was. And who knows if there's going to be another one. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.